Comanche and Indian Gap Railroad appears to be abandoned during most of the year. The steaming bays at Indian Gap and Comanche are empty. Only an occasional train crosses over the Helper Bridge and loops around to the cut below. Cattle are free to roam near the right-of-way, and grass springs up around and through the equipment on the dead track at Mexican Hat. It all changes for 1 week in the spring and again in the fall, when there is an overwhelming surge in traffic. Railroad President Roy Pickard sends out a call to boomers throughout the nation, asking for their help in handling the load. The boomers respond, unloading and checking their equipment. Among the first to arrive are Peter Bryan from Houston, Tom Stamey from Fort Worth, and Harry Bean of El Paso, Texas. Now, the first few days are spent adjusting and oiling switches and preparing the railroad for the expected rush. Melanie and Mark Siebert from Cypress, Texas, are checking out the mainline track leading into Helper Cut. Hoppers are loaded with crushed rock from the bunker at Mexican Hat. Then ballast trains deliver the loads to where needed by the track gangs. Now, a southwestern railroad will have names that are strange to the ears of boomers from other areas. Coconino, Zuni, Yellow Horse, Maximilian, Anasazi, Mexican Hat, and let some old-timers pronounce this one.
Tlaquepaque,
When I get where I'm going, they're not all screwed up. We have done that too.
God, there's many different ways that we've heard it say in the past 10 years of being out here. You can pretty much take your pick and you can't be wrong.
Just say anything.
I think the dispatchers pretty much figured out when people start stuttering and coming up with strange names where they are on the railroad.
Pocky.
To what? Where'd you say you're going? Tlaquepaque. Don't ask me to spell it.
Comanche is the eastern terminus of the Comanche and Indian Gap, and is where the railroad began. In back of the yard is a turntable and steaming bays, also storage tracks for diesel engines. Pat McCarthy of Kansas City eases the daylight out of the yard under the watchful eye of owner John Lenheiser of Grand Prairie, Texas. Note the two-way radio headsets. This is a point-to-point railroad controlled by a dispatcher in Tower 17 at Zuni. After crossing 100-foot Mississippi Bridge, the daylight passes under the bridge into Helper Cut and around the loop built to ease the grade west. Now, can you think of a more handy place for a derailment? They are also stopped on a 2.44% grade.
Let's move the seat to the middle. This car here is more stable.
The daylight is soon back in service and continues the westbound climb.
There's a fellow by the name of Bruce at Tlaquepaque. I know that. I want to talk to Bruce at Tlaquepaque.
Where the hell is Tlaquepaque?
Where's what?
Somewhere around here somewhere.
But you don't know where.
It's in the shade, that's all I care.
That's the place from where you broadcast and nobody hears you.
You're right.
Mexico.
Oh, okay. On this railroad.
Yeah, we're plumb out of the state.
You're right.
That's a mixed up super that named all these places.
That's the truth.
For life. Tlaquepaque is a great place to be and to be from. And if you get stuck there, you wish you weren't there. And if you aren't there yet, you wonder if you're going to get there. And if you get there yet, you just love it when you do, for just a little while. And you wish that other train would come so you could get away from Tlaquepaque. But it's a wonderful place. There's no place like it, and very few people, if any, can spell it, including me.
Springerville, with its west yard, is the western end of the railroad.
Repeat, please.
In peak traffic periods, sometimes several trains will be waiting for clearance to start their eastbound run.
53, number 2, Atlantic. Here we copy. Sure thing.
Now, in the fall, the brush is dry and the grass is brown, the humidity low, and extra precautions must be taken to prevent fire along the right-of-way. Coal-fired engines have temporary wire screen cinder traps over their stacks, and there are water buckets scattered along the main line.
37, you got to wait there for the 573 second section. 418, next in line at West Junction after 4120.
It's only a short distance east to Godibo and the next passing siding, then Anasazi, Tlaquepaque, and then a long run to Maximilian. Well, here comes the daylight.
We're just coming into being cleared Anasazi. 650's made my meet with the whatever at Maximilian at Tweedy. Is that the right one, Tom? 650 cleared to Zuni, thank you.
Leaving Maximilian, he has as straight as a narrow run to the yard limit at Zuni. This is better known as the racetrack. Well, this looks like Art Ryder.
Is the 985 cleared to follow us here?
Who knows?
And this is Harry Haas, Tehachapi, California, with 2925 Mikado. He's entering Godibo and will make a meet.
The cleared Godibo, and we've met 2925. Roger.
Well, maybe. I think we got a little bit too much payload.
Let's take a look at Maximilian siding. There is shade at the east end.
Harry. What?
One's 58. Say again, please.
You'll go to Tlaquepaque and meet the 710 and one more train.
4158 to Tlaquepaque.
'4158, you do not delay number 2925. Not foul or joke.
Now, when Marilyn Pickard, the railroad's chief of dining car services, is aboard, the train gets extra priority, especially near dinner time. Between Helper and Comanche is 100-foot steel Mississippi Bridge. It used to be a bit scary before the walkway planks were installed. Well, Art Ryder on 4158 is on the loop around Comanche.
Gene's still sitting down here in Comanche Yard.
79 East has left Lennis. He's met the 5 West.
Now, there is electrically controlled remote switches that allow you to go on the main line or into the yard.
You want to go this way too, right?
Art is staying on the main line. And I see his brakeman is running for the switch, manually operated, to go into the siding for water. Now the next train is going into the yard and taking one of 2 yard leads. I bet you he finds people talking there, especially in the late afternoon.
You're going to meet the 6988 at Go to Boat.
It's not all talk. They are going to take a look at the equipment.
What was it that was wrong with this thing last year when my little steam engine had to pull you and your train in?
Well, I done forgot, but the biggest part of it is backyard rail.
Oh, now it couldn't be.
I gotta think, what was wrong with it?
I don't know. But that poor little old steam engine had to carry you all the way in.
I'm not arguing that question. It
Find
wasn't
out,
fire.
find out who it was that was running this engine last night with a Southern Pacific jumper on.
Uh-oh.
Yes, sir, but it also had a Santa Fe tag on that jumper. I looked at that
I heard
before
this
I
gentleman
left.
here throw a man off of his train one time because he had a Southern Pacific jumper on.
Yeah, but that Southern Pacific jumper, but it was on there right back there. That's the only reason I bought it.
The railroad sometimes operates using station agents who issue written orders.
We've got a jam up in Tlaquepaque. Let me get back to you, Dave, right quick. Hello, operator at Tlaquepaque. Clear them to Zuni. But you need to let me know when they've left. West Yard. No, West Yard. West Yard. You've got the track to Tlaquepaque. You need to let me know who all's going. 10-4. West Yard. West Yard's authorizing the 951 at West Junction to proceed from West Junction to Tlaquepaque.
Got my orders.
West Yard. Go ahead, West Yard. West Yard, engine 579, ready to depart eastbound. Give him an order to meet the 983 at Anasazi. All right, meet 983 at Anasazi. Tlaquepaque give an order to the 983 to meet a train at Anasazi, and once the meet is clear, he can go to the yard.
Said Tlaquepaque.
West yard.
We're gonna find out.
Go ahead. West yard. Go ahead.
Now, waybill operations require a yardmaster, switcher engineer, and 2 switchmen at both Comanche and Springerville yards. They will make up trains to the waybills given them by the yardmaster. Now, the consist waybills will be given to the train conductor by the yardmaster.
Eastbound freight, we have 4 cars going westbound.
This is a typical waybill. Car identification at top, and the first open line is where the car will be dropped.
Drop off at Lena, and you can drop off at Jericho. This one you got to take
All the way to the yard.
to West Yard.
Heading west, first set out at Lennis. Waybills of cars set out are left in the box, and waybills are taken for cars picked up. They will pick up 2 loaded hoppers and set out a boxcar.
Won't turn loose.
The crew takes a shortcut, hope no one's watching.
No, we haven't. Which will be coming in a little while.
573 to dispatcher.
Come in, 573.
We got a car to set out there at Zuni, so line us into one of the other tracks. Gets there and holler.
There is a large Y at Zuni and a 500-foot spur leading down to Indian Gap. It is typical for trains at the end of the day to back down and leave their cars in the yard.
I'm going to clear you on up to help us.
10-4.
Pull up to the junction and hold.
Sort of out here, isn't it?
Just a minute. Okay. 37, we're going to have to
Harry Bean moves his engine onto the turntable, then to the steaming bay to get washed up for supper. During the 92 fall run, Roy was surprised by membership in the Live Steam Hall of Fame. Note the badge on his hat.
573. Where are you? We'll change the meat for you then. I'm going to make you meat.
Now, the spring run is a bit different. It's much greener, the grass is taller, and there's not the danger of fire. Here Kurt Warner comes into Godibo for a meet. Now we pass West Junction and start the loop around West Yard. Boy, there's sure a lot of greenery. Now the entrance to the yard is signaled, but the batteries haven't been connected yet this morning. Roy also is planning on installing remote operated switches for the entrance to the yard. Either keep the main line or go into the yard. And we are at Springerville.
710 in Springerville. Copy.
I guess we're going to take some water.
573 dispatch.
Yeah, Tom.
Put me in track 2. I need to clean some mud off the wheels of my caboose.
Now, in the meantime, the eastbound train has left Godibo and is approaching Anasazi. Now, it looks like something's going on. By golly, it's a photo session. That's Harry Bean's engine. And I think he wants us to stop. Now back in West Yard, Jack Owens is getting a drink at the yard water tower. And it looks like Billy Chafin of Atoka, Oklahoma is giving him a hand.
Down to the point.
West Yard, ready to go. 2180, come on up to Tlaquepaque.
Tlaquepaque.
820 and 573 in Maximilian.
Tom, come on up to the west switch at Zuni and hold there for a moment, please.
Roger, west at Zuni.
Now it looks like Kay on 579 has just set out a bad order car, and he'll back down to his train and be ready to go eastbound.
Depart from Springerville for Comanche. 579, highball to Godibo to meet the 591. Roger. I don't care about who's in Comanche. Once you're past Owen Junction, I don't care where you are in Comanche. That's up for them. 710, follow the 579 to Godibo.
Well, with 710 heading eastbound, let's go up and take a look at what's going on in the tower.
3420. When 4147 clears to Tlaquepaque, you are cleared to Springerville. 27 and 4147. When you clear 3420, you're clear to Zuni. Okay, 3420, you're clear to Godibo in the shade.
Now the dispatcher also handles the switches in the
Tweety,
Zuni
yes,
yard.
you are clear to Linus.
983, on the way to that is.
505, what do you want to do?
Go to Comanche.
Are you ready to go?
That's Roger.
All right, 505, you're clear to Coconino.
Everybody does that.
Roger.
Story of my life, Peter.
573, ready to leave. Somebody lost 4 cars at the Suicide Bridge, and I also had just 980 feet coming in.
All right, Tom, those belong to Joe. Can you shove them up here to Zuni?
Yep, you're going to have to get the 988 to back up.
He wasn't supposed to leave until you guys cleared Mexican Hat. Y'all work it out down there somewhere.
Sorry about that. I got the number.
Well, the run is winding down. Cave Allrath is parking a couple of cars in Indian Gap and heads for the steaming bay. Well, it's time to clean up the equipment, get it packed, and ready to be loaded up. Well, they've dumped the ice from the reefer. I wonder what sort of a load they were carrying in this one. Well, I see the group is gathered to watch the unloading or the loading. And I see Roy is wearing his Live Steam Hall of Fame badge. This is a very secret organization. To preserve their secrecy, they hold no meetings, collect no dues, do not issue a bulletin, and assure everyone they will never hear from them again.
Ever get in the Hall of Fame again? He'll never get in.
I have this problem with authority figures.
Came from Sedona, Arizona. And that came from a village in Mexico. Man went down there and fell in love with this little village in Mexico, and he came back to Sedona, Arizona, and bought a piece of land and built a shopping center that was a reproduction of this village. And that's where I first heard of it.
And so now we have one in...
And I learned to spell it, so I put it on the railroad.
You learned to spell what?
Tlaquepaque.
And spell it.
Tlaquepaque.
If you weren't drunk, you couldn't do it.
Well, that's the Comanche and Indian Gap. Let's find a first-time visitor and see what he thinks of the railroad.
It really is.
And I'm also going to...
You're speechless, huh? This is the greatest. This is the greatest. There's nothing like it anyplace.
Well, like I say, we got a bunch
If you
of...
like to run a railroad, here's the place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That,
it's a railroad.
Yeah, we got a railroad that we run twice a year.
That's right.
You know, a bunch of boomers come in and...
Yeah, some pretty good boomers. Yeah, damn good boomers. That'll catch you if you make a mistake.
Yeah, you're right.
You know what?
Tlaquepaque.
Tlaquepaque? Yeah. Well, it's out there with that caboose.